I got lucky in every aspect.
So,
And 2 friends actually that were on the job that I knew from the jail. One was a Bergen County sheriff, one was a state trooper, New Jersey state trooper, that both came up, and I had my badge hanging from the car. And they looked at my name, and they were like, "We got a cop." I never forget. I was so out of it, Kev.
this is gonna hurt.
It's time for the Suffering Podcast.
That's when you were still that, if you want to say, yeah, that was when, dope was real.
Because I know in order to snort heroin to get the proper effect, it's got to be somewhat good.
It's not like, well, I'll fast forward, but it's not like the garbage. Like everybody's OD, it's full fentanyl. There's no more. You can't. I guess you could. I don't really know, but yeah, I never forget it.
So you go
in my brain. I swear to God, I knew I was going there, and I knew I was going that direction. Fucking 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm banging on this fucking dude's door. He answered the door. What's up? Whatever the fuck you got, I need. What's wrong? My brother's fucking dead, I think. I said, I need something.
How'd you get the drug dealer's number?
I had it. It was through I had it through a friend of a friend. Mm-hmm. They doing pills and stuff. You kind of know certain people. Mm-hmm. But you would never know it. The guy was like, But, yeah. That was it.
And of course, he didn't try to talk you out of it, I'm sure.
No, he didn't know. They definitely did not try to talk me out of it. But when I was deep into it, he kind of gave me the father talk. He was actually not like, he wasn't like, a typical like a drug dealer kind of guy, He was like, "Man, you're going to ruin your life. Look at me, you're going to, please, why don't you stop? Do it for your family." And when my brother died, my brother lasted 3 days in the hospital, hooked up to every goddamn life support. I stayed there for 3 days. I got stoned for 3 days. I was wrecked for 3 days. I stayed there. I was coming home to shower, get a quick shower, and go right to there, go there, and come right home.
What did he die of?
He had a massive stroke. They did every conceivable. They did this bone thing that I don't even know. They froze him. They freeze you. Mm-hmm. They induce your, they take you offline. Actually, they freeze your body down to I think a half a degree lower than your body, your core. And they do it like they wrap your femoral and they have this flowing ice cold water. They freeze you for like 10 hours. They take you off. And then if you had any kind of brave movement, it would pick it up like, so we had to wait. And I'm going to tell you right now, the 2 longest days of my fucking life was from that day, from that night. I'm watching them. I'm going back. I know I'm jumping around, sorry, but I'm visualizing I never forget when they're frantically working on my brother. They had a chest tube. They hit him twice. I'm watching this the doctor let me stand here in Valley, man. And Mike's on the table over there, and I got his wife, Jill, I got her under my arm. And all I kept saying is, "Oh my God, I got to tell my parents. Somebody's got to call." The hardest thing I ever did my whole life. I had to call my sister.
No parent should ever outlive their child.
No.
My
parents died that day. When they came, I called my sister Marie up. I said, "Mary," "I'm at the hospital with Jill. You got to get down here immediately. You got to come." They lived where I'm living now. I'm living back at my parents' house. My sister Marie lives on the top of me. She had to walk downstairs at 4:30 in the morning and knock on my father's door, get my parents up, and then get them to the hospital.
Those early morning calls.
No.
That's how I
terrible,
found out
bro.
about him.
Terrible.
Early morning call.
It's terrible, bro.
And then you do the proverbial woulda, shoulda, couldas. I should have done this. I should have done that. Yes. I should have told him I loved him one more time. I should have done this.
No, I felt like that I should have been dead. Like, why is he dead? Why? I'm not dead. I'm a piece of shit. Why am I dead?
Meanwhile, you're going back into the throes of addiction.
Yep. And just coming out of and just being clean for a year, maybe that at that point, maybe a little longer, on, off, nothing crazy. I get, listen, addiction's addiction. I don't care if you're doing one pill, people might say, "Oh, I'm not doing a lot,"
You know how I found out that I beat my addiction of alcohol? And it's not that I wouldn't like to have a drink every now and again, but you could sit there and drink right in front of me and be like, all right. We had the event at Mickey's, right? people drinking all over the place. There was a part of me that going, guys, the fuck are you doing? We're in this spot because of drinking. What are you doing? But at the same time, there's the rational part of me going, hey, listen, I don't want to ruin anybody's good time. You know, you guys are adults. I fucked everything up. Doesn't mean you got to fuck
Kev,
everything.
But you don't have to have a shit
I
time.
thought that too during that.
Yeah.
Saying to myself, this is kind of like, listen, I'm not a prude or anything. This is kind of like weird and odd and like,
Yeah.
and
I mean, we're having it at a bar.
yeah.
so-
At least it was all good, but I'm like, I don't know. Is this something?
There were some people hitting it hard.
Oh yeah.
There were,
Yeah.
and I get it. They were numbing some pain. They were hitting it hard, but at the same time, you know, I'm
You're right, though.
a little bittersweet about it.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So, how far into addiction did you get?
I would wake up in the morning. First of all, if anybody anything that knows any opiates, you need opiates around every 4 to 6 hours, depending how much you take on a basis. I would wake up every morning. I left the job. I was injured on the job, right? So I was already home. I was home since 2011. This is 2018.
So you officially retired.
I was I think it was like 14 months after that.
Right.
I'm working. I slowly get myself back to iron working. You know, my father said, why don't you just go back? You don't got to go back every day. Go back, you know, why don't you just come back a couple of days a week? So that was still back when you can get, you know, you knew who and, you know, you knew that foreman. You know, oh, I know this guy owns this company. So I had a good couple of good jobs. And 4:30 in the morning, I would wake up. Either I had it or I'd have to go get it. I would work all day and then come home and then grab something for that night and make sure I had something that would last me from 4 o'clock at night until 4 in the morning.
Now, your wife ever suspect any of this?
Not in the beginning, but twice. After the second time, I OD'd twice. Yeah. So.
And what was her reaction when she found out you're doing dope?
The first time, you know, she didn't know what to. She didn't know what to do. She didn't know what to do.
Because I know my wife was getting concerned with the pills after my shoulder surgery. I was still working. I was still on the job. And she threatened to throw them out. It was one of the bigger fights we ever had.
Well,
I'm like, you ain't fucking throwing that shit out.
Exactly. That's my, you know.
That's mine.
I remember that in when I was in full blown addict. My wife would fucking go through my wallet or go through whatever. Like I had my own. I'm very meticulous. Like if I'm working, I gotta have all my shit lined up at some kind of my OCD. I gotta have my wallet, my keys, my socks. You know. She would go through and leave fucking notes out for me, pictures of my kids. So I fucking feel like a real shitbag in the morning. You know, 4:30 in the morning when you have to get yourself high so you're not sick. You know, you're looking at that. So how it really went down is, after the first time I did, I was working. I came home. I do my whole routine, and I fell out in my backyard. Now. I have screen doors that go off to a deck, and then I have a pool. I sat down on the I have on the lazy boy, whatever that
lounge,
the lounge chair,
chaise
the
lounge,
chaise
yeah.
lounge, right? And all I remember is waking up with like 50 fucking people in my backyard in Woodridge. 50, everybody's huddled over me. My next door neighbors, this, that. They had every cop in the 2 boroughs were, you know, Woodridge, Colstad, Heights, paramedics. I'm like, I wake up, I was soaking wet. I said, oh my God, I'm saying to the guy, did I piss myself? My eyes were closed. So the guy goes, oh, no, relax, relax. I said, what happened? He goes, oh, you tell me. He goes, you tell me. So I'm kind of coming to. I really didn't know where I was at.
Did they hit you with Narcan?
Yeah, well, they Narcan me 4 times. This is how bad it gets, Kev. That's the first time that I go hospital. They let me out. My wife I check into like a 5-day. You know, you think you fucking, I got this shit. 5 days. I got this. That lasted maybe, I'm going to say 6 months until that following summer. And then you're like, you call up that same guy and go, you know what?
I got this beat.
I got a friend that needs 5 bags, or a half a bundle was 5. I guess bundle was 10. I got a friend, they knew he knew, and that getting high on trying to sneak getting high, on like a Saturday, and like hang out.
Well, did you think you had a beat?
Yeah, no, I thought like this was it. Like, all right, I don't have to get high all the time. Like in your mind, you actually lie to yourself so much, Kev. You do. You lie to yourself so much that your brain's telling you that this is gonna be fucking good.
So the crazy thing is with addiction across the board, whether it's alcohol or drugs, the 6-month point is the most critical.
Yes, it is.
Because they think they got to be. I'll talk to a lot of people who have alcohol problems, right? And they'll go sober, and 6 months I fell off the wagon. Well, yeah, because you fucking thought you have it beat. You never have it beat. You don't have it beat.
It's the hardest point between 6 months and a year that most people either are going to make it or they're going to revert back.
I'll have 11 years on November 26th.
Nice, thank God, and knock on wood every day. I'm sober for fucking Jesus Christ. I don't know how long. I'd be honest with you, since
well, the only reason I know that
19, summer 19.
The only reason I know my sobriety date, it was the day after Thanksgiving, and I checked myself into rehab. That's the only time. That's the only reason I know that. It was 2013. Day after Thanksgiving, I checked myself into rehab, and that was it. I was done because I became that proverbial prisoner.
You get trapped, and you like, you remember you saying how you get corny yourself off, how they get COs to bring stuff in. You kind of feel you get trapped. You're trapped.
Yeah.
There is no way to get out of that. Fast forward the next summer, right? 6 months unclean. I'm kind of working, and as any kind of good drug addict you would do is you network, you find people, right? And like I said, the one guy was like, "Listen, Matty, you got to really slow down. You got to slow down. I don't want to see you kill yourself." Oh, fuck it. I would go see him, and then I found somebody else. So then I was like, oh, I can get one and then go grab another one. I'm good. Well, I was driving. I do 2 blasts like I always did. And as soon as I did it, I never forget it. I'm on Route 4, and all I heard was a hum, like a huge humming sound in my head, like a, like, you know what I'm saying, Kev? Like the ringing, but what the fuck? And I knew I had the wherewithal. I was going to try to get over to the shoulder.
Route 4 is a major highway.
So I'm going over, and I kind of tapped somebody on their bumper, and I must have fucking went out. But thank God I already went out, but I smashed the divider. Thank God, there was a cop and a nurse getting off shift at Holy Day Hospital that got me out of the car. I was blue. If you read the report, you would want to kill me. If you read the police report, they Narcan me 6 times. They defib me twice. Did
it work?
Yeah. But
I'm sorry.
No.
Listen, I've been known to make really inappropriate comments, and that was one of them.
But I mean, I got lucky in every aspect.
So,
and 2 friends actually that are on the job that I knew from the jail. One was a Bergen County sheriff. One was a state trooper, New Jersey state trooper. That both came up, and I had my badge hanging from the car. And they looked at my name. And they were like, "We got a cop." I never forget. I was so out of it, Kev. I didn't know what to, like, I was so out of it. I really was. I was so fucked up. When I got to the hospital, I must have been out. I woke up. I'm like, oh my God. I looked down at my fucking feet. I was like, am I going to be chained to the fucking bed?
You said you feel trapped, right?
Trapped. It wasn't the word.
And I know that feeling, but you know the reality of it. You're never really trapped. Like that's something we make up in our mind, right? You're never really trapped. You can get out, but when you're in the middle of it, man, you see those walls closing, and you're like, I got nowhere else to go.
Well, the only other thought, the way I thought I was going to go is, I'm going to go. Fuck this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go. I'm going to go. And I was like, oh, fuck it. I'm going to go. And then my wife, all that she kept saying is, you got 2 kids. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Then you start seeing the importance in life, and
you do. And then that night I woke up, and I read that. I got myself sick. I was reading that. How bad the guy was like, listen, you were dead for 3 minutes, dead. I was done. If the cop wasn't right directly behind me, and the nurse ripped me out of the car and she was doing chest compressions, I would have probably been done.
So now you're given the second choice, though, or second chance.
Second chance. This is how I got it. Either you come home tonight, you check yourself, you're going away, or you can't live in this house no more. You got to leave.
Wives have a great talent for doing that. They really do. It's like, this is it, or get out.
Okay, exactly. But in your head, you're going to work this out. I knew I was going to go. Like I said to myself, this is it. I've heard all these crazy horror stories. Like once you start ODing or once you go, you're going to be done. Like I was like, I can't do this now. The guilt sets in about, look, your kid's going to, like my wife's like, your kids are going to fucking find you dead. Is that what you want? You want your daughter to come home and see you dead? You're
not thinking like that. You're thinking your proverbial peripheral vision is closed up on you.
100%.
And you're just seeing this high that you're chasing, and everything else is speeding cars going past blurry.
It wasn't even like, wow, this feels good. It felt good for around 2 minutes. And that was it. That first time, when you take that first pill, you take that first drink, you're like, man, this is what it's going to be. This is what it's going to feel like forever. This is fucking.
Even on a lower level, you ever smoke?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You remember that? So out of a pack of cigarettes that you smoked a day, all right, how many of those cigarettes are really good? 2?
Oh, I'm sorry, smoking cigarettes?
Yeah.
Never smoked cigarettes. I thought you smoked marijuana.
No. Smoking cigarettes. Listen, I smoked since I was 13, and I quit when I was 45 or something like that. And you start looking back over this stuff. No, actually, I quit when I was like 43 or something. Start looking back over this, and in reality, like there's only like 4, maybe 5 cigarettes that you really enjoyed. The rest of them were because you started getting like that low level jonesing.
Sure.
And yeah,
you take that pull off the cigarette. You're like, yeah, exactly. Wow, this is great.
And watch a smoker now. They'll go outside and they'll go.
Yep. They're drifting off from left field. You're exactly right, bro. That's what you think when you're an addict, that you got to, first of all, the sickness that you get coming, it's unreal. Your skin's crawling. The depression, and I already have like anxiety, depression, the whole 9, PTSD, ADD, ADHD, the depression, and then being a drug addict, because you think that we know all. And that you can I'm going to self-medicate myself. I'm going to be able to do a couple of bags, do a couple of Xanaxes along with that, like the real kicker. As a good drug.
Why not?
Exactly. That was a little cherry,
Yeah.
You put that in the mix with that. I thought, I was like, I made myself a drink. I'd never forget it, like I said.
So did you went away to rehab?
I went away down to Florida.
Now here's the interesting part. And this from a guy who said he's never done anything adventurous in his life, which I call fucking bullshit on. But you go down there, and now you become, Florida's a little different. You become a prisoner. You get strip searched.
Yeah, man.
You get some dude looking at your asshole. This time not willing.
You gotta urine every day.
You gotta piss every day.
Every morning you gotta go urine.
And you want to talk about humbling yourself. That's humbling.
How about when you're 40, what am I, 53? 46?
Mm-hmm.
I go down there and I'm like, fuck. I was like, probably like, there was 2 older gentlemen down there for alcohol. They make you raise your, I was down there with 20 other guys. I went to an all male. And you have to make, you raise your hand. I'm Matt from Jersey. What did you? Oh, I was a heroin addict. Heroin addict? Like what? Since ever? No, I started doing it when I was like 44. I said, 44? You're like, you have to get like a little catch up in the game, you know what I'm saying?
I once knew a guy who was 78 years old and took up smoking.
And, you know, like
It was the funniest thing in the world. He's like, fuck it. I'm going to die soon. I might as well have fun.
I guess. I mean, you know.
But it's a humbling experience. Now, you get out of rehab. What changes in your life?
When I first came home from rehab, it was like it wasn't hard. I was very quiet. Like I kind of got like weird. Like I was very quiet. Like I used to be fucking running around doing 120. You know, when you have ADHD, you do like if you take like a stimulant, it levels you out. Now I took something like an opiate. I was up. I can go forever. On that. It's very, very weird.
So I've heard the opposite with people with ADHD.
Right. I got like I'm polar opposite. Like my brain's wired. But it was it wasn't hard when I came home. But it was hard to fill all the time. You have to fill the time.
You owe your wife an apology is what you owe.
Well,
what you do.
You know, it took me a year to call a good friend of mine that saved my life. Bawling to him on the telephone. And he knows who he is. Bawling to him like I was a 2-year-old kid. Bawling to him and saying, thank God you saved my fucking life.
Takes a little bit of time to adjust.
It takes a while.
So that friend who helped you.
Thank God.
Have you turned the tables? Have you reached out to somebody else?
Well, I mean, I maybe not directly, but I worked the program. Mm-hmm. I made a lot of good friends. I made a lot of you'd be surprised who's in there, you know.
So I say that about like if I give anybody any assistance, I'll get this in return. They're like, well, what can I do for you? I'm like, you don't do nothing for me. You don't do any, but help is not free. My help comes with debit. My debit is the next person that you identify that's in your same spot. You owe it to them to do what was done for you because Mike would tell you this if he was here. He, after when we started going group therapy together, I stayed on after I retired because there was people who helped me in my worst of worst times, and I felt like I owed that help to the next generation, and that was where the true healing started to begin. So that's got to be a mission. I'm telling you now, it is so freeing and it feels so good. That same feeling, that first bump that you did, that first blast, it will return, but it will return in a different form. And all I can do is tell you to trust me on that one.
100%.
And yeah, so I think you should do that. So you got 3 years sober.
Oh, I got maybe
you said 4 years.
4 years, yeah, almost
5
come
years.
5 years.
5
5 years.
So 5 years sober. And has there ever been a temptation?
No.
So if somebody were to put a couple bags out here right now,
I couldn't do it
because I got them.
I couldn't.
I brought them just
Where
for
are
the
they?
show.
I just want to know where they're at.
I brought them just in case.
Just a good test. Make sure he's not lying.
Make sure,
Exactly.
if you were lying to me, I just want to see them.
But that's how you know you beat it, like we were talking about with the event.
You can ask Manny, and this time this was no more game of it was the game gets high stakes right after a while, even when you're drinking, blackout, whatever, but when at that stage of the game, you don't know if you were going to get fentanyl, what you were going to get, right?
It's a different ball game.
So it's a whole different ball game. So all these poor guys, these young kids that are out there that, and they know how to get you too. They're great salesmen. So it could be the best stuff in the world. That one time, it's done.
So I'm going to actually talk directly to you, Pat. If you ever see this, you see him sliding, don't allow yourself to live with the same regret that I feel for Mike.
I know.
All right? I watched him backslide, and I watched his life totally implode. I watched everything getting taken away from him. What I should have done is when he was sitting here, say, hey, dickhead, get off the show and come back when you're sober, because that's who I want here. I want clean, sober, lucid Mike. I don't want this fucking mess that I see in front of me. I didn't do that because this was the last, in my mind, the last bastion of normalcy that he had to come and hang out with his friends and have a good time. And I regret it every single day. I've since changed that, I am much more proactive, and that's why when you called me the one day, I'll call you right back, and I'm like, I'll be very direct with people. I don't care if you never talk to me again and you call me the biggest jerk off. As long as you're alive to say that, I'm cool with that. I'm good with that. But that's where you got to look with Matt here.
Absolutely.
That's where you got to look. So, Matt, you got any plugs you want to throw out?
No.
You got any? Okay, that's good.
I mean, I don't.
That's easy.
I mean, I would say if I was still doing my thing, I would probably say it, but I'm not.
Okay, you're not going to meetings anymore.
Oh no. I haven't since COVID.
All right.
The whole there's really meetings have got chopped down to like.
Yeah, I know.
It's very weird. You could have a meeting you can still hit every meeting everywhere. It's not like it used to be.
Yeah.
The same core of guys that I went through with a lot of older guys.
Well, you got to think.
I went to AA.
How many people relapsed because they didn't have that constant?
100. Listen, 100. You know how many people went back from COVID?
Yeah. It's a sad thing.
Well, it's you get so, I don't know how to say it, but when you feel like we were saying, when you're trapped, it gets so melancholy. You think, your brain starts to play tricks on you. Like, you know what? If you get fucking high tonight, you'll have a good time, and you can stop.
But remember tomorrow.
That's the fucking crazy part. Right.
So remember tomorrow. Remember that feeling of regret you're going to have in the morning.
Like I said to you, I could never. It's actually like playing direct, like Russian roulette. That's like taking your gun and going like an old 6-shot and putting it to your fucking head, and then
maybe it'll.
Oh, okay, all right.
Maybe it'll go off. Maybe it won't go off.
We're safe today. Okay, it's not going to be like that.
So Matt, we're coming to the end of this thing here, and I end every show the same way because you've gone through suffering in your professional life as a corrections officer. You've gone through suffering in your post-career life. Hard to say which one's worse. One, you're dealing with criminals. Now you're dealing with this addiction monster. But it had to have taught you something. And if it didn't teach you something, it's really a wasted opportunity. So I would like to know from you what your suffering of being a corrections officer, being an addict, has taught you.
It's been a humbling, for real. It's been a very humbling experience, and it's taught me to be, Kev. It taught me a lot in that fact. You really find out who your true friends are when you're in the worst possible spot in your life.
And
it's the truth.
And those are the people that you keep in your life forever.
It's the fucking truth, man.
Yeah. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys coming in here. I appreciate what you said. I appreciate everything you've gone through. But now you get to use all this stuff, and you're still here, so you get a second chance.
Brother,
don't waste it.
Trust me, I'm trying not to. I'm not gonna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, Kevin, keep up the good work.
I appreciate it.
Seriously, this is like I said. I mean, I knew Mike. Went to the academy with Mike, so.
I'm very sorry that you went to the academy with all those boneheads.
Well, the Palmer, as we know, he is
Nicky Burke, and I know
special.
them all.
Oh, Burke. Well, anyway,
listen, was there asbestos in there? A lot of power lines overhead? Chips paint?
The power wires up there.
Yeah, there's got to be power wires or like
up
the
there.
lead
Water
paint.
up, yeah.
It's got to be lead.
Chips.
Talk to Nicky for 5 minutes, and
Nicky, I think, was on the other side of the academy room, so hopefully I didn't get hit with the wires.
Did you guys get hit in the head a lot with PR-24s? Yeah, that's all I can think.
But keep up the good work, though.
I appreciate
Honestly,
it, bro.
man. You're doing a great job,
guys.
And thank you.
Thank you, brother.
And that's going to do it for this episode, The Suffering of a Corrections Officer. And as always, let's think about what we learned. I heard the salad tosser guy likes the Mets. Control is a total illusion. Sometimes you do anything to dull the pain. Certain things are bigger than us. You're never truly trapped, but most importantly, some things are in our life to humble us, and sometimes it's very good to be humble. And that's going to do it for this episode. Don't forget to go to popple.com, put in the code TSP20 for a 20% discount on your digital business card. And, of course, follow us on all social media. That's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Clapper, and OnlyFans. Follow me at Real Kevin Donaldson, and, of course, follow the Suffering Podcast. We'll see you on the next episode.